Howdy from Las Vegas. It's Sony, creator of Saoirse Farms, and today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about my me, and my career history. What I can remember of it, it's quite seasoned, I think. Um, I've been working since I was 12, officially, well, I guess unofficially, and just whatever little jobs I could get after school and things like that. I started a work in a work to ride program where I worked on farms in exchange for riding lessons, and that's what sparked my love of farms. That back then in high school, and it was some of the best days of my life. I think I mentioned, and anyway, now it's a big part of the driving force for me now. Anyway, when I was 17, I, signed over to the Navy and did that for 4 years as a aviation ground support technician. Sounds pretty fancy, maybe to you, to somebody. Um, right, I did that, and then when I got out, my love of cars continued, and I went to tech school for cars, and then I went to paint and body school for cars, and I did just kind of a little bit here and there of what I could with that, but I was finding a really hard time breaking into the industry. It's kind of funny because now there's a female-run shop in Philly. Um, by a woman, and she's really making big moves, and I watch her progress, and I think, man, I wish she had been around when I was in my younger 20s, just graduating from tech school, and nobody would take me seriously. Or few and far between. I found one or two places that were willing to take me seriously, and even that kind of unfortunately it wasn't able to go anywhere substantial for me. So anyway, when things were kind of really going south in the car game for me, I wasn't getting anywhere enough to support myself. I ended up with a crazy opportunity to come to Las Vegas, and for me it was just kind of finding a way to survive because me working on cars wasn't paying the bills, what I could get. And anyway, I ended up just getting an office job. I got into school for to be an English major, and I ended up, just working a few other office jobs, but was still incredibly unhappy. And I started, sharpening up on my writing. I've always been kind of a writer, but it had never occurred to me to try to support myself doing it. And it was actually something I felt a lot more confident about compared to trying to fight my way and relive the nightmare of trying to work with other um, males in most shops where they just weren't weren't really interested in having a female there. So anyway, right, went through these office jobs. I'm plugging along on getting on this bachelor's in English now, and I started getting into my writing. Well, one thing led to another, and I started getting into different forms of media, and social media is all the rage, obviously, and with YouTube, that's when I finally YouTube and Twitter and a couple of different platforms. I finally decided I was going to go into some form of entertainment, and then that's when I decided to go into BDSM and create an alter ego dominatrix personality, and her name is Artemisia Crucible. Artemisia Crucible. I started her out on Twitter, and like I said, it is an alter ego, so it is me in a fantasy style for the world of BDSM. And one thing led to another. I found that I quite enjoyed it, and now I've run a WordPress where I write Artemisia's adventures, which are quite intense. You know, 18 or older, and like I said, it is BDSM or a form of it. Anyway, I write her adventures on WordPress, and I also film little MIDI clips of her doing various, fetishes. Now, while it is what it is, just a couple of things. If it matters to you, apparently it matters to me to share it with you. That right, it's not me having sex with people, or me torturing anyone involuntarily or without their consent. In fact, I don't even think I have any filmed or published clips of me working with people working with another person, filming it be in related to BDSM. So anyway, yes, that's what I do. Um, I find it quite exciting and entertaining. I enjoy it. Um, some people it may conflict with their morals. So, for me, I'm sharing it with you because, I'm appealing to the world to be supportive in one way or another of a farm that I want to start that is related to the community. And while of course BDSM has nothing to do with my project for my farm, and just starting it, it's what I do as an entertainer online. Like I said, I'm a fantasy writer, and media kind of fiction fantasy entertainer. So if that's a deal breaker for you, which it might seriously be for some, right. Pray for me, or whatever might be compassionate in your heart to do. But maybe hopefully through this project I can prove to people that you can be involved in one thing in your life, and it doesn't necessarily have to reflect in every other area of your life in the way that people understand or have a lack of understanding for it. What I do for as an entertainer, I enjoy what I do. As a creative writer, I consider myself a creative writer first, over being going around fully labeling myself as just a full-time all-out dominatrix. Um, it's I kind of look at it as almost like a Marvel comic come to life. I hope that's not insulting to some, but for me, that's the style. It's kind of really comic Quentin Tarantino kind of feel. I'd like to believe in some ways. Not all, but I'm saying, as far as the level of intensity. So hopefully, that you can still sleep okay tonight. Maybe you're like, why are you telling me this? Who cares? Maybe you're like, oh my God, never mind, unfollow or whatever. Um, or maybe you think it's super cool. So anyway, if anybody ends up asking for more information in the comments one way or another, I'll be sure to uh, reply with it. But otherwise, right, this is basically going to be my disclosure as far as you know any morality complexes that anybody may have in order to support me, restoring the bee population, selling blueberries. Maybe you don't want me to have any blueberries now that you know this. So, I mean, I just want us all to be on the level here. Gotcha. Okay, well, thanks again for tuning in. See you next time.